Welcome to the Live Well, Perform Better podcast, brought to you by Below the Line. My name is David Duggan, and I'm part of a team made up of experts from the worlds of business, elite sport, adventure, and health and well-being. We are coaches, mentors, and advisors to some of the world's biggest companies and organizations, as well as smaller businesses, entrepreneurs, and people looking to make their mark on the world. Our guiding mantra at Below the Line is Live Well, Perform Better. What does that mean, you might ask? Good question. Maybe the easiest way to describe it from our perspective is finding the formula that works for you when it comes to things like looking after your physical and mental health, running your business, developing your career, leading your people, or simply being able to show up as brilliantly as possible into your own life, both for yourself and those around you. That's why each week I sit down with a member of our team or an invited guest for a conversation that focuses on the question, what do the words live well, perform better mean to you? This question is a way in to exploring with people from a range of different backgrounds, industries and disciplines. What are the practices, techniques, habits or ideas that they use to help them to show up and be at their best in all areas of their lives, whether that's as CEOs, leaders or managers, or as parents, family members or friends. We keep it short and sweet so that you can extract all the good stuff and get on with the rest of your day, and hopefully put some of our knowledge, experience and expertise into play for yourself. This week I am joined by a very special guest, Jack Marshall. Jack is a health and wellness coach who works with individuals and teams in the corporate world as well as in schools, introducing older and younger people alike to the powerful health benefits of yoga, breathwork and meditation on our minds and bodies. This was an inspiring conversation with a young man who has overcome the challenge of living with debilitating chronic pain, and who now puts what he has learned transforming his own health into use by helping the clients he works with to transform theirs. Jack's road to recovery began when he came to the conclusion that he was the only person who was going to be able to get him out of the situation he was in. And listening to this conversation will reveal how he did it and how he now manages to stay pain-free, mobile and healthy, both mentally and physically. Please subscribe at www.belowtheline.ie, where you can stay up to date with our podcast, as well as exclusive online events and sessions, including our Press Pause coaching community and our story coaching programs. Thanks for listening, and see you next week. Look, why do you do what you do?
Okay, so I think the best place to start is just to tell exactly what I do. So I teach yoga, mindfulness, meditation, and I do health and wellness coaching one-to-one with people. And I'll start with the first part, which is schools. I do it in schools, mainly to TY students. Then one-to-one coaching can be anyone really, anyone with any health or wellness issue that they'd like solving. And I also do it with corporates as well. I have a background myself I worked as an accountant for 4 years. So I do understand kind of the day-to-day stresses associated with that environment. So it's nice that I can kind of bring an element of that into my mindfulness classes, especially with corporates. Now, why do I do it? My experience, I suppose, it comes back to this with a lot of people. I lost my health pretty much at quite a young age, around, must have been 20 when it started. And I just began to experience pain in my body quite randomly. I was fit and healthy. I played soccer. I ate well. I slept well. I did everything right in my own head. And then my body just began to break down completely. It progressively got worse over time to the stage where I genuinely thought I'd never walk again. By the time it was spiraling quite badly, and by 30, I thought I was going to be in a bad place. I'd also been diagnosed with arthritis and ankylosing spondylitis, which when I Googled them scared the life out of me as well. So it wasn't going in a great place for me. Obviously, that affected my mental health because I now couldn't play sport. I didn't really enjoy my job either. So I just wasn't really happy in my life. And one day I just decided I was on some sort of injections. I just decided I wasn't doing it anymore. They weren't helping for a start. And I also had an idea that, to be honest, the doctors didn't really know what was wrong. They were kind of guessing. They were doing their best. They were doing their absolute best, but they didn't really know what was wrong. So I began then to just try and sort this out for myself. I started yoga. And from there, that first day I went to yoga, and whatever, maybe 4 years later, I'm where I am now. But that day I went to that class, I can look back and admire that person, because I was struggling back then. And I had to pull myself out of it, and I did. And that's the reason why I do it. So it kind of links back to why I do it. The reason is because I think a lot of people are in the same situation as me. I think they don't have the education. Like, I really wanted to get better, but I didn't know how. And I've had to learn. And that's fantastic. Through different experiences, I have learned. But I would also like to fast track that experience for other people. I don't want them to, like, there was a lot of pain and suffering involved for a period of time. And to go with that, a lot of helplessness, which I think is probably the worst experience, when you just think no one can help you whatsoever. So yeah, through what I've experienced, I'd like to be able to educate people on how to improve their health and wellness. And yeah, I think with that education, it's then easier to make the right choices. But I think there is kind of a gap there between what's out there and what really helps people. So education, awareness, and just helping people. I really do enjoy helping people, because I know how much it's helped me. Like, I've experienced it myself, this healing, and for the past 4 years. And I just think it's a wonderful experience for anyone to experience that. So that's why I do it. It's to help people and to educate people.
So it sounds to me like there was at least a decade there where you were in various levels of pain and immobility. Is that right?
Well, it was only, I'm 27 now. So it started at 19, I'd say. And it went on. I mean, I still experience pain, like, the odd time, but it's very much under control. I'd say for a period of 6 years, it was from, I'd say, 19 to 25, I had no control over it. It was just getting worse all the time. And then, like I said, that I went to a first yoga class, and to be honest, I actually hated yoga for the first year I did it. I experienced none of the benefits that people talk about. It didn't calm me down. It didn't help my pain. I just kept going, though. I just kept going. I was like, if I have to do something. And through that, I actually went to India right at the start of the pandemic, which was last year, 18 months ago, to learn to be a yoga teacher. I quit my job as an accountant, and I said, I'm going to try this. And that was a great experience for me. I think it opened my eyes into different, like, I did yoga, but I'd never experienced meditation before. And I think I learned from that meditation was massive for me. It was the first time that sense of calm, peace, I really, really experienced it. And it helped my yoga practice. They kind of work hand in hand. But once I experienced that, I really began to, it was the first time I really believed I could get better. And that's a huge moment, I think, for anyone whoever goes on a journey like I did. I think that belief that I can get better. So yeah, that was massive, going to India, meditating is something that I do every day. And I think it's just such a wonderful practice. And I wish, I'd love more people to do it, just because I think to experience peace of mind by just sitting still is so powerful. I know we can get our kicks from sport. I get it myself, from even going out and socializing. I think all those things are wonderful, but I think being able to sit with yourself and really experience peace is probably the most powerful thing in the world.
Yeah. Which leads me to my next question, which is about, practices or habits or behaviors that you engage in. So obviously meditation is one. I presume there's a yoga practice in there for you daily or during the week, but, just talk to me a little bit more about that. I'd love to hear about that.
so yeah, yoga would be one of my yoga. Mobility would be something that I practice maybe 3 or 4 times a week. But I also see the value in, if I don't do them, I go for a walk in the morning. It's something that I never really thought I'd do. It's not really, I was always into intense type of sports and like performing, but actually going for a walk first thing in the morning is a lovely thing to do. So if I don't do them, I'll go for a walk. Then I'll tend to do breath work. So I learned breath work while I was in India, just simple yogi breathing techniques, and I love them. It's something that I do for maybe 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes before I do my meditation. And then I do 20 minutes of meditation. And I'll do, the type of meditation I do is Transcendental. So I learned it through Ayurveda, which is kind of holistic medicine. It's a fantastic form of meditation. It really is. It's probably, I've done lots of different types, but I've been really consistent with this. I just do this 20 minutes twice a day, the exact same. And I experience fantastic benefits from it. I can't talk highly enough of it, to be honest. And like every day isn't brilliant. Like some days I'm there and I'm sitting there and it's not desirable, but more often than not, and it's not necessarily the practice itself, it's how that feeds into the rest of your life. And I know I experience a lot of peace from meditating. And then other than that, I mean, I eat well. I think that's such a massive thing. So simple, but eating well, I'm very much into the happy pair. I live at home with my mum for the last 2 years, nearly through the pandemic. And yeah, we both eat. She's done a lot of the happy pair courses and they're fantastic. And the food is, the variety, the taste. Like I think even in the fitness industry, fitness and well-being industry, or there's a huge emphasis on food just being for performance. But I've definitely changed my tune on that. I think some of the foods, some of the tastes you can get are just wonderful. And I think that's something that I've improved my relationship with food massively over the last 2 years, and actually just experiencing food. Yeah. Then otherwise I sleep well. I prioritize sleep, 8 hours sleep. And outside of that, in the last year, as I began to get better, I've integrated myself back into sport. And that's been a massive thing for me, I think. And anyone who's listened to this, like sport is just the community it has, the being around people. It's just fun. I can't tell you enough how much that's been good for me. I play tennis and soccer mainly, and I just absolutely love it. And it's really just being around people, sharing that experience. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, I remember you talking about something on a Zoom call a while ago about, I think you were going down to spend some time with a friend who wasn't in a great place, and you brought the football, and you just said the crack we knocked out of the football was just enormous, you know. And I had a similar experience a couple of years ago, being in Nepal with Ian Kingston, who you know as well, and there was a ball, and we just kicked ball around the yard of the school, and I said, I haven't done this in years, this is great. And I bought a football when I got back, and there's still one out the back garden that I regularly go out to kick around. It's just good fun.
It really is. I completely agree. And even like another one of my friends, one day we did something similar. We went out, there's like a hurling field out the back of my house, and like I'm not a hurler and neither is he, and we were there for 2 hours just, and like I think as well, when you almost don't play a sport, when you don't take it seriously, there's no judgment. You don't have that judgment of I'm terrible, or, you know, so we were just there to have fun. And I think even in exercise, and it's one thing that I tell the kids in school, is like, I think when we're kids, we all dream of being a fantastic soccer player, or particularly in this country, the schools in Tipperary, it's all hurling. But like at the end of the day, only 15 people can play for Tipperary. So where do you fit in outside that? And just make exercise fun. Just go for a kick around with your friends, play five-a-side. Do something you're bad at. If you're terrible at rugby, go and play tip rugby. Just have a bit of fun. Like, it doesn't have to always be serious. And I think that's one thing they really do take from it. It's just like, sport isn't supposed to be serious. It's supposed to be fun. And I think even I remember when I was when I was younger and I supported Man United, I remember Alex Ferguson in his book just said every time he used to tell the players to go out, and this is at the highest level, the last thing he'd say is go out and enjoy yourselves. And I think that's a massive thing in sport. You just go out and enjoy yourself. And you're more likely to express yourself and perform. They come hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. My next question is just about, the below the line strap line, which is, as you know, is live well, perform better. But I'd love to know what's your interpretation of that and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, well, I think they work hand in hand. And I think you perform as a byproduct of living well. So living well to me is committing to your health and wellness, committing to your relationships. And if you commit to your health and wellness and you commit to your relationships, that is performance to me. Anything past that, we've very high expectations of ourselves in every aspect. But if you get up every day and you have that commitment to your health and wellness, to eat well, to sleep well, to exercise, and also in your relationships, really commit to your friends, really commit to your family. And then the other stuff, work and that will just feed in. That will just come as a byproduct. If that is your performance, if your performance is sport, if your performance is your work, if there are things that you value as well, they'll just feed off it as a byproduct. But I think for anyone who's healthy and well, both in mind and body, they're going to perform well. So that's what it means to me.
I guess you work across so many areas, the breadth of the people you're engaging with. It's transition year students, it's people in the corporate world, it's one-to-one. But what do you, if you could boil that down to some of the key health or well-being or performance challenges that you see with the people that you're encountering, what's happening in their worlds right now as you see it?
I would say probably lacking a why. I think why do I do these things? So from a performance point of view, if we take sport, I think a lot of people commit to their health and wellness because but they're really committing to their sport. So they'll eat well, they'll sleep well, they'll do all those things because it leads to performing on a pitch. I think from my experience, it's when we lack that why, we don't have that reason. We're not quite sure why should I do yoga? Why should I eat well? And I think that's something, a lot of the time it will be short term. So people will lose weight for a holiday and the holiday will be the why. And then the holiday is over and they've no why. So for me as well, from my point of view, my why for a long time was getting better, getting and healing. But now I feel as though I'm in a place where I've healed and I can now begin to create and become a better person. But my why has always been myself. And I think it almost has to be that really sense of deep self-love, self-worth, that I'm going to eat well, I'm going to sleep well, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to really commit to my relationships because I care about myself. And I think that's the reason, and that feeds into other things that then as a byproduct, you tend to just be better in your relationship. So even though you're doing it for yourself, you're doing it for other people as well, because you're bringing that good energy to all the people's lives that you interact with. So that would be probably the thing that I see people struggle with, is maybe just that lack of why, and really having a strong why. And if anyone does, I would say just make it yourself. There shouldn't be there's no greater reason you should do it than others, just for you. And the other one I would say just popped into my head there, it kind of links hand in hand, is patience. I think something that I struggled with, especially when I was experiencing pain, is I wanted to be better yesterday. I was so angry at being in pain for this long that I nearly wanted to make up for all that. I wanted to be ready. I wanted to be better right now. And that's just not reality. You really have to honor where you are now. So where I am is where I am, with a deep commitment, through all your practices or whatever your daily routine is, to getting better. if that's the journey you're on, if that's a healing journey you're on, like I am. I can only speak from experience. But I think a lot of the time, there's just a lack of patience there. Even in performance, it's like, do I have to do this every day? Like, I want to be this good now. But honor where you are now. This is exactly where you are, and this is where you're supposed to be. But commit to all these things over a period of time, and through that commitment, day in, day out, you will get better at whatever it is. If it's performing, if it's your health and wellness, whatever that may be, even if it's your relationships.
What helps you maintain your discipline around a lot of those practices? And for anyone who might be wavering around habits or behaviors, what do you advise?
It's a good question. I would say it probably comes back to the why again. Just having a why. Like, if you don't have that in anything you do, like, we always have a choice with everything. And I was talking to the boys in one of the schools I was with yesterday. Like, you do always have a choice, but like, I have a choice. I don't do my yoga. I don't do my yoga. I do my meditation. I don't do my meditation. But my why is this commitment to what I am now and to what I would like to be in my life. And meditation is at the root of that. And yeah, self-worth, self-respect. I'm doing all these things because I really love myself, basically. Like, that shouldn't be the reason. I would like that to be everyone's why, to have that really deep sense of self-love. That's what does it for me. And it's not easy. I don't wake up every morning and love myself, but I know through them I'm more likely to.
Talk to me as well just about transcendental meditation. I've heard the term, but I don't really know what it is. So just maybe briefly, what is it, and how does it differ from other forms that you've tried?
So in India, we did loads of different types. We did gratitude, we did breath, we did just varieties, like awareness meditations. When I came home, then I did breath for a year. I just committed to breath every day. I did like breath, but then I was ready to kind of just explore other ones. And I just came across Transcendental meditation. I did an Ayurveda course through ayurveda.ie, which is they do unbelievable courses for free. And I would recommend that for anyone who wants to do it, ayurveda.ie. But through that, they recommend Transcendental meditation. It's like it's the root of any advice they give to patients is TM. So I just explored it and I did it and I learned it. You learn it one-to-one. And the difference is it's mantra based. So you get given a mantra. As far as I know, the mantra is unique to the person. Now, I'm sure the mantras are repeated, but whatever mantra was given to me for a reason. And you just repeat the mantra in your head. It's the first time you do it, you say the mantra out loud, and then eventually he guides you. That my teacher guided me into, and now just begin to repeat that in your head. And it's funny. You just you almost lose touch. I think that's the nicest thing about it is soon the mantra gets quieter and quieter, and then there's just space and peace. And the mantra, I think that was the nicest thing my teacher taught me, is just let go of the mantra. The mantra is there, but eventually through time you'll actually just let go of it, and then it's just you and you're there, and you really do experience, well, I've experienced lovely peace of mind from it. And like I say, it's not always easy. I think that's always I've had a good experience with it for the last few days, so it's in my mind now, but I know I've struggled with it before. And it's not easy, but keep showing up. That's in line with your previous question as well, as what do most people struggle with, I think. And it's just that commitment to showing up all the time. And every day is not going to be easy. Like, some days you just will be terrible, but that's okay as well. But just keep showing up.
What's the one piece of advice you would give to anyone looking to live well and perform better?
I look at it from probably the live well. I'm just going to focus on that. because it's just closer in line with my story and my own experience. And I think it's just better for me to give an opinion on something that I've experienced. I would say follow your own intuition. I think for me, for years, I was waiting for someone to save me. Every day was such a challenge, and I was like, this will help me, this will help me, and this person will help me. I was doing my best, but I had no education around, geez, maybe I can help myself. And it was when I began to really, really take responsibility. And the day I sat there and was like, I don't need to see anyone anymore. That was the day I really took control. And I think it comes back to following your intuition, like what really works for you. Like I'm talking about transcendental meditation there, but like that really, really worked for me. I didn't need to I think a lot of the time we look up studies and we want everything to be, we look them up and we want evidence that it's going to be fantastic. But maybe just experience it and see, is it fantastic? And if it isn't, try it again and keep trying it and see how it works for you. How does this impact me over a long period of time? And I think that's the greatest lesson I've learned is you are your own best healer, and do just take that responsibility on yourself. It's not always easy. It is struggling, and it's important to take the help that's there initially. I think like therapists, movement experts, health and wellness coaches, whoever it is. Don't get me wrong, they're fantastic, and it's the business I'm in, and I can guide people as much as I can. But even into people who are my clients, I'm a guide. I can't do the work for them. I can only tell them I can only advise them, but it's really up to them, whether they do terribly or whether they perform really well. It's actually nothing to do with me. I'm just giving them my experience and mine help. But if they have great results, that's on them. And if they have terrible results, that's also on them as well. With me taking a little bit of responsibility. I will take some responsibility, but all I can do is give advice, really, on my own experience and my own education.
Fantastic. Jack, you're a fountain of knowledge. You speak so passionately based on your own experience, and I think for anyone who's listening to this, there's loads in here around health, well-being, responsibility. So thanks very, very much for your time and doing this. I really appreciate it.
No, thanks, David. It was a really good experience for me as well. Cheers.